humans, Disney fans, lend me your ears. It's the question in every Disney fan's mind. When will Walt Disney World reopen? We have a few more clues that may give us insight into the when and the how of Walt Disney World reopening. Let's chat. Well, a lot has happened in the past 48 hours. Many states are beginning a slow open of their retail stores, restaurants, and non-essential businesses such as theme parks. Earlier this week, we talked about a lot of the speculation surrounding what a Walt Disney World reopening might look like. If you'd like to watch that video first, you can click right here. But now, we have some official statements from other American theme parks, official statements from Disney themselves, and some more rumors to weed through. First, a couple of days ago, the first amusement park in the country announced a reopening date. Holiday World in Southwest Indiana will be opening their doors on June 14th. Obviously, this theme park is hundreds of miles away from Central Florida, and individual states' reopening phases vary widely. But this announcement can only mean one thing: that other amusement parks and theme parks will soon follow suit and begin announcing their reopening dates as well. Furthermore, a couple of days ago, I came across an article that said that Universal Studios Florida sent out a survey to some of their pass holders, asking if they would visit the park if they were to reopen on August 1st. And I know I saw this article, but to be honest, I should mention that I went back to look for it again to reference in this video, and now I cannot find it anywhere. Then, in a Disney earnings webcast, Bob Chapek announced that Shanghai Disneyland would be starting their reopening process on May 11th with a 30% capacity. This brings down their normal 80,000 person capacity to just 24,000. They sold out of all their tickets for that day within minutes of making them available to the public. And at this moment, they also appear to be sold out for the 12th, 13th, and the 15th as well. And this brings more insight as to how things may look in the US parks once they open. Here's how Shanghai Disneyland explains their ticketing process for reopening. Guests are required to purchase dated admission tickets prior to their arrival, and annual pass holders must make a reservation for their visit date and time through the resort's official online channels before they visit the park. If this is how Walt Disney World proceeds with their reopening process, it'll be interesting to see how annual pass holders feel about this. When they purchase those passes, or at least the passes that don't have blockout dates, they were under the impression that they would have access to those parks any day at any hour. I am sure frustrations will run high when people aren't able to get into that park. And even for people without annual passes, if someone's once-in-a-lifetime family Disney trip happened to be scheduled for the week of reopening and they are unable to access the parks, it would simply just be so, sad. I'm hoping that people will be understanding and that Disney will be understanding to those who are losing out on those precious family memories. This reopening news also brought forth some interesting pictures that perhaps give us a glimpse into what reopening will look like in Walt Disney World's future. Pictures began surfacing, showing large decals on the ground in queue lines for rides, food, and attractions, saying, "Please do not stand here." Shanghai Disneyland will also reportedly be parading around their characters more often, since traditional meet and greets will still be on suspension once they reopen. They added that in order to not interfere with their characters' story arcs, princesses and other face characters will not be wearing masks, so they will need to keep a safe distance. Shortly after the news of Shanghai Disneyland's impending reopening, there was an official statement from Disney Parks' Chief Medical Officer. Who even knew that they had one? In this statement, Dr. Pam Heimel covers phased reopenings, adhering to guidelines set by government and health officials, social distancing, limiting capacity, and new improved sanitation measures. She also mentions screening procedures and the use of PPE, or personal protective equipment. However, it's left very unclear if this is referring just to cast members or if it will extend also to guests. I'll leave a link in the description below for this statement by Dr. Pam Heimel. None of the information is very surprising. Much of it fits into a lot of the guidelines and mandates that we covered in my last video, which again, you can access right here. And lastly, yesterday brought the big news that Disney Springs will begin a phased reopening on Wednesday, May 20th. This was super exciting news to finally hear from Walt Disney World that something was going to be getting back into the swing of things. In this statement, which again, I'll put a link in the description, Disney Springs Vice President Matt Simon says that third-party owned and operated locations within Disney Springs will begin running as outlined by Florida state health officials. Examples of some third-party restaurants would include Maria and Enzo's, the Edison, and Wine Bar George. And while the PPE information on Dr. Heimel's statement was left relatively vague, the Disney Springs announcement is very clear. Both cast and guests will need to be wearing protective face coverings. Does this give insight as to whether or not the resorts and parks will end up doing the same thing when they open? Maybe. It's entirely possible that the parks will require masks for guests. However, an experience at Disney Springs can often just be a couple of hours. Grab a bite, do some shopping. But at the parks, you would be asking and expecting people to wear a mask all the livelong day in Florida heat. And again, I feel like people will be touching the masks frequently to remove them to hydrate, eat, and take pictures. At that point, is it even logical? Would the masks even be doing what the intent of the mask is for them to be doing? These are just some of my rambling thoughts, but until we hear something official from Walt Disney World, we will just have to wait and see where the parks end up landing on this issue. So there you have it, friends. I'm hoping that we can all safely get back to the most magical place on Earth very, very soon. In the meantime, tell me in the comments below which park you'd like to visit first once they are up and running again. The answer for me would be Hollywood Studios. If you found this video helpful or informative in any way, please consider giving it a like. And be sure to check out the rest of my channel for vacay tips, movie reviews, and song parody music videos. And if you like what you see, be sure to subscribe and click on that bell so that you don't miss out on any of the Disney fun. Until next time, this is Melanie saying, we'll chat again soon.